Big day here at the 49ers facility. Brock Purdy and George Kittle back out at practice, and as I walked into the locker room, I saw Nick Bosa. For the first time since he tore his ACL, he was walking around with the help of crutches, but the initial rehab for Bosa is finished. He's in the building. The 49ers have been looking forward to this because he is such a great leader for especially the defensive line, but I think for the whole team. Nick Bosa is going to be able to impart his knowledge on the 49ers youngsters as he continues his rehabilitation from the torn ACL. San Francisco hopes for the same from Fred Warner, although not yet. Warner had surgery yesterday. It went well at Stanford, and today he's on the couch. Sidney Warner posted again, quote, "doing so good," end quote, on top of the picture there on Instagram. So maybe after a couple weeks of initial rehab and rest for Fred Warner, he too can be back in the building to help tutor some of these young guys around. Tatum Bethune, his direct replacement today, spoke of the foundational pillar philosophy that the 49ers have.
Fred's been everything to me, a teacher, just a brother, just a friend too, you know, everything, the way he carried himself on and off the field. I just learned a lot from Fred, and I'm rooting for him. He's in good spirits right now, but you know, our goal is to go out there and make him proud on the field and show him that the legacy and the standard that he set for this San Francisco 49ers defense is going to be upheld.
I think it's important to establish that Bethune played well for the 49ers against Tampa Bay. They actually saw worse linebacker play from the other two guys who had more experience during an NFL game, and that was D. Winters and Luke Gifford. I would not rule out the 49ers making a move for a linebacker like Quincy Williams. Bethune probably stays at the Mike position. He's the one with the ability to have the radio in his helmet, and I think the 49ers want to develop him for that. That's what he's been working at behind the scenes while Fred Warner was healthy. But Winters' play has fallen off ever since about week 2 or week 3. They've been picking on him a lot in coverage. He's given up over 50 yards per game in coverage versus only 16 yards per game over the first 3. So the back 3 have not been as good for D. Winters. And Luke Gifford is a number 3 linebacker. The 49ers in this defense, the Mike is obviously really important, but that weak side spot is also very, very important. That's where D is at, and you know, it is a potential spot where just position-wise, especially since Fred Warner is now out, where the 49ers could probably use some more quality play and veteran leadership. So you can't take your eyes off of guys like Quincy Williams, and obviously at the edge rusher position, Trey Hendrickson, Jalen Phillips, Jermaine Johnson of the Jets. Those are all names that we're going to keep an eye on as the 49ers move forward into this month of October. All right, quarterback room. Promised to update there. You took a look at what was happening on the field. Brock Purdy and Mac Jones both technically limited for the 49ers, but Purdy is definitely more limited than Mac Jones. In the 30-minute window of practice that I watched, Mac Jones was doing a whole heck of a lot more than Brock Purdy. So it leads me to believe that Mac is the likely starter on Sunday against the Falcons. Now, does that mean that Brock Purdy can be the emergency third quarterback? I think it might be trending in that direction. Adrian Martinez also seemed to be doing more than Brock at practice today, and Brock is rehabbing the toe. I think in the big picture, makes sense for the 49ers to make sure that Brock Purdy is 100% healthy. You do not want to get onto this yo-yo ride of Brock going out there at 80 to 90% and then worsening to 70% and then resting and then going back out there and never reaching 100%, because the 49ers need this offense to be elite. The pathway to this offense being elite is for Brock Purdy to be out there on the football field at full health. 49ers need to get it there. They're 4-2. They're leading the division. As dreary as things have seemed over the course of the past few days ever since Fred Warner got hurt, the truth of the matter is that they're still in that driver's seat. They still have a chance to make significant noise this year, but the pathway that they have to take is one of elite offense, and you've got to make sure your guys like Brock Purdy are healthy. Now, George Kittle needs to be healthy as well, and his practice window has been opened. Kittle's technically still on injured reserve, but I thought that he looked spry out there at practice. He looked excited to be there at practice. When you talk about an ailing run game and what really ails it, well, it's interior line play, obviously, for the 49ers. Hasn't been good. It's the lack of downfield, credible, consistent receiving threats coming out of a leverage position at the line of scrimmage. And I think with the receivers being so beaten up for the 49ers, that's also hurt. And George Kittle, I think, falls into that receiver category. And then it's also auxiliary perimeter blocking. And George Kittle definitely falls into that category. I mean, he could do all of the above. So he puts an offensive line into a really good position to succeed. He puts a defensive line on its heels. Kittle coming back from the hamstring. Everything looks like it's making good progress on that front since he was back at practice today. Kyle Shanahan shared the rest of today's practice report. Why don't you have a listen so he can go through the full gamut of who's in, who's out, and who's limited?
All right, injuries for today. We got Yetur knee, hamstring will be out. Ricky knee will be out. Sky Moore ankle will be out. Trent Williams vet day. Christian vet day. Jordan Watkins calf limited. Brock Purdy toe limited. Mac Jones knee oblique limited. Pooney knee limited. Kevin Givens pec limited. Juwan Jennings ankle rib shoulder limited. Renardo Green neck limited. CJ West thumb limited. George Kittle hamstring limited. Clea Davis hand limited. Michael Williams thumb. Oh wait, those guys are full. Go ahead.
And probably my favorite part of the press conference today was the very end. I asked about Sky Moore, who has made some questionable decisions when it comes to which punts to field.
On fielding punts with Sky Moore, he fielded a couple more inside the 5. Is that a yes or a no?
That's a no. Big no. So we're still working on that.
Oh, big no from Kyle Shanahan. Had a chuckle at that. I wanted to be fair with the question. I didn't want to lead Kyle in one way or the other. Maybe there's some kind of spin on the ball that Sky Moore might have seen that would have led him to believe that the ball would bounce back into the field of play away from the end zone. But no, big no from Kyle Shanahan. You do not field punts inside your 5-yard line. That's been the one red flag that's held over on the 49ers special teams. I mean, Eddie Pinheiro, more about him in a second. Eddie Pinheiro has turned that into a plus unit with how well he's kicking, but they still want to make sure that they're avoiding the risks that Sky Moore has been taking at punt return. Now, Moore missed practice today with an ankle injury. And guess who was back? The rookie, Jordan Watkins. He was limited today for the 49ers. So might we see Watkins make his NFL debut on Sunday? And if the 49ers don't see Sky Moore, might Jordan Watkins be a punt returner for San Francisco? I think a lot of that's TBD. They've yanked Isaac Guerrero off of the kick return units on Sunday. So especially given Kyle Shanahan's answer, it's not out of the question that they might make a change at the punt returner position if they feel that Sky Moore catching those punts inside the 5-yard line is putting the 49ers at too much risk. All right, Eddie Pinheiro. He just passed Justin Tucker for number 2 all-time in field goal percentage. He's behind only Cameron Dicker. I was joking around with Eddie today in the locker room. He's got, I'm number 2 because we had been tracking it together. He said, I'm number 2, but I got a long way to go for number 1 because Cameron Dickers is like 95%. Eddie is a little bit over 89%, but that's a big gap. Cameron Dicker is going to have to miss a few kicks because the NFL has never seen anyone with this accuracy rate through a little bit more than 100 kicks. So Dicker's getting the job done, but so is Eddie Pinheiro, 15 of 15 for the 49ers. And he talked a little bit more about his upbringing today, and just fascinating stuff. His dad played professional soccer and would stay, hours before and after work. His dad was in construction. When Eddie was just transitioning to football at the end of his high school career, Eddie was a soccer player as well, but then he booted a kick like 60 yards at some random tryout, and it was like, oh my God, this guy can be a really, really good football kicker. So Eddie Sr. saw it, and Eddie Sr. supported his son all the way to the point of his son earning a college scholarship and then making it to the NFL. A couple years ago, Eddie Pinheiro retired his dad, and his dad lives 2 houses down from him in Miami.
No, he's retired. No, my dad will never work a day in his life again. So,
why?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah, because he's done everything for me. He's been there for me. He's worked his whole life to give us the best life. So now it's time that I give him the best life.
So you retired him?
Yeah, absolutely. Retired him 2
What
years
was
ago.
it? Like construction?
Construction, yeah. After playing soccer, he didn't have the best money management. And, now he's got me. So we're good. It means everything to me. That's the goal. That's why I started playing football. That's why I quit soccer. Even though I love soccer, that was the love of my sport, of my life, But I knew that doing this, I can give my parents a better opportunity, you know, to own a home one day, have a car, have a house, and you know, have everything that they should, of what they deserve. If it's up to me, I'll live under a bridge. I'm okay. As long as they're living good, that's all that matters. But my dad ended up, unfortunately, he had a heart attack a couple months ago, so he hasn't been able to fly. So, yeah, he hasn't been able to come over here, but hopefully the doctor clears him soon, so I can see them. It'd be great.
What did your mom do?
My mom's a stay-home mom.
Okay.
Yeah.
What a cool story from Eddie. And by the way, we talked about him wishing Jake Moody well last week. Eddie Pinheiro did call up Jake Moody yesterday after the Monday Night Football game, where Jake Moody got some redemption, was able to drill the winning kick for the Bears against the Commanders. Eddie Pinheiro did, again, reach out to Jake Moody, and he did repeat that he thinks that Moody's a really good kicker, and that Moody's going to have a long career for the Chicago Bears. I guess that's the team now for Jake Moody. Other news around the NFL, the Broncos have designated Dre Greenlaw to return from injured reserve. He suffered a quad injury in the offseason. He has yet to play for Denver. So it seems, it's obviously a coincidence, but it seems that we're talking about linebacker injuries, and Fred Warner right now, his former cohort with the 49ers, just as Warner goes down for the season. Dre Greenlaw designated to return from injured reserve. Obviously, everybody wishing him the best in Denver. And the 49ers, well, they're going to turn the page to Thursday after they wrap up all their meetings here as initial preparation for this game against the Falcons. San Francisco, 2-point favorites. The line has only closed 1 point since the Falcons beat the Buffalo Bills on Monday night. So the 49ers here at Levi's Stadium under the lights. They're going to be able to debut the new light show and light fixtures that they put into this stadium for the first time this year. 49ers are going to try to get a big win to move to 5-2. Likely, it seems, with Mac Jones at quarterback. Definitely with a very short-handed defense. But Bosa's back in the building to help shepherd those young guys along, and the 49ers will hope that they get the boost of the home crowd to find a way to get one in, get a win in on Sunday, so they can move forward to a road trip against Houston and the New York Giants, still in the driver's seat of the NFC West. These seasons are marathons. They're not sprints, but they are marathons that you must run like a sprint. Every single week matters, and the only one that matters to the 49ers in that building behind me is the one right in front of them. Fans can look at this with crazy, myopic, big picture lenses, but the 49ers just have to figure out a way to beat the Falcons. And they have some guys coming back, namely George Kittle, who can help them do that. By the way, no Ricky Pearsall. Go watch and let me know in the comment section. Go watch the Ricky Pearsall catch on which he got hurt against the Jacksonville Jaguars. It wasn't ruled a catch. It was the toe tap, the deep pass from Brock Purdy. Ricky showed me a picture on his phone today of both toes down. We think that he caught the ball. Like, I firmly believe that Ricky caught that ball, and obviously it wasn't looked at, and officials said that it was incomplete. He banged his knee. He's probably not going to be back this week. He's feeling a lot better this week than last week, so that's a return probably to slate for the following game against the Houston Texans. But go watch that play again. Let me know if you think it was a catch, because I think it was. So long.
Man, I don't know. God's doing something, man. He's working through me, but nah, just working, being prepared. Good things happen, you know, when you prepare. Shout out to the guys. You know, it's not only me. It's a collective group thing, and I'm just trying to help the team, man. And it's kind of just been happening.
They've all been pretty close. Yeah. Just wondering, now that the defense has taken such a hit with both Nick Bosa and Fred Warner out, amongst the offense, is there any extra added pressure to put more points on the board to solidify more wins this season and not kind of rely on the defense to kind of win at the end?
Yeah, it's a good question. As offense, you know, we want to, you know, offensive minds, like having an offensive-minded coach, you know, we want to lead the team. Like, we're always competing with the defense in a good way, you know, like we want to be the leaders of the team, and once you competing like that, you're gonna play good as a collective group. So yeah, we want to put up points, we want to do the right things, and it's more pressure now. Like it always is, but now we gotta, you know, keep carrying our workload and and doing what we need to do to just help the team win.
Well, speaking of that, you and Mac Jones seemingly have quite the synergy out there on the field. So between you guys, have there been any extra conversation of like things that we're doing this well, we need to do this a little bit better?
Yeah, me and Mac, we always meet, things like that. He tells me all the time, we texting, talking to each other, watching film and stuff like that. It's important. He knows where I'm going to be. I know where he wants me to be, things like that. So just keep growing, while we're in this position right now. And it's showing. So all the little things, they add up.
KB, this team, you, Mac, Tonjes, the defensive line have already had to step up. Guys that maybe didn't think they were.
When you see it in person, you realize why he is who he is. You can go on about how great of a player he is, but I think just watching what kind of man he is and the kind of character that he has is something that I respect so much about him. He's a great man of faith, great leader. Does it the right way, and I have the utmost respect for him.
Do you see